friends, here's something almost nobody thinks to do, and I say that because even I only started doing this about a year ago, and I don't know of any other agents doing it in my market. If you are thinking about selling your home sometime next year, I want to put you on a home search, not for a house that you're buying, but for your own neighborhood. Sounds backwards, I know, but it's one of the most useful things you can do before you sell your house, and let me explain why. So here's where this came from. I've been doing this a lot in the market for several years, and it started on the buyer side. A buyer would tell me, hey, I'm ready to buy in a year. And I'd say, that's great, no rush at all. So what we do is we put that buyer on a search so that they can start seeing every property that becomes available in their price point and neighborhood. I want them watching the market, and here's what happens. They watch for a while, and they start to actually understand what's going on out there. And then, more often than you think, the right house shows up way earlier than they planned. Then it hit me. Sellers need the exact same thing, just pointed at their own street instead. So let me break down why this works for both sides. Let's start with sellers, because this is the part almost nobody's doing. If you think you're going to sell in a year, I'll set you up in a search for your own neighborhood. And now, every time a home near you hits the market, sells, or changes price, you get notified. You're watching your own market from the back end, the way that I watch it, and you haven't even listed your house yet. Did your neighbor's house sell? How fast did it go? What did it actually go for? And not what people say it went for. Over a few months, you build a real, honest picture of your own neighborhood, and that changes everything about how you approach your sale. So why does this matter? Because when you finally sit down to sell your home, you have a realistic perception of what's happening instead of a fantasy. Here's what I see all the time. A seller has a number in their head from what their neighbor supposedly got 3 years ago, or from what they hope it's worth. And then reality hits at the listing appointment, and it's a rough conversation for both of us. But the seller who's been watching their own street for 6 months, they already know. They know how fast things are moving, they know what the price point is actually worth, and they know it because they watched it happen with their own eyes, not because I told them. The seller prices right, lists confidently, and sells. Nobody has to convince them of anything. I had a buyer recently that wanted to watch the market for a year, so I did this exact same thing I just told you about. They loved one right from the beginning, and they told me that, if they weren't thinking for a year from now, that was the most perfect home. So what happened is I said, well, let's continue to watch the market and see what the patterns are. So if we see another one soon, we know there's a lot of inventory, a lot of options. We can still take that entire year to search. Well, after missing that first one, a few weeks went by, then months, and guess what? They saw nothing else. If they had just gone off that first report, they would have thought, cool, we'll wait a whole year. What ended up happening is that the perfect home came up again a few months later, and instead of just waiting for the rest of the year, they knew they had to snag that home. It was perfect. They moved in sooner than they thought, but they also are very confident with the purchase. And this is what watching the market actually teaches you, whichever side you're on. If you watch your side for months and almost nothing comes up, that tells you that something is real. Inventory is tight, and when the right one appears, you have to move on it quick. But if listings are popping up consistently, great. Now you know you have options. You're not in a rush, and you can be patient. Either way, you're making decisions based on what's actually happening, not on a headline or on a hunch. That's what I mean by an informed buyer or seller. It costs you nothing to watch, and it takes the guessing out of the single biggest financial decision most people make. So here's my ask, and it's an easy one. Whether you're thinking about buying or selling in Eugene, even if you think you're a year out, let me get you on a home search. If you're buying, we'll watch what's coming available in your range. If you're selling, we'll watch your own neighborhood so you know exactly what your market is doing before you even list. It's free, it takes me 5 minutes to set up, and there's zero pressure attached to it. Worst case, you learn your market for a year. Best case, you're like my buyer and your dream home shows up sooner than you thought. Reach out and I'll get you set up today.